Hello and welcome to another edition of See You Next Thursday in the middle of pre-season friendlies as things are. Well, unless your team wins, of course, and then it's important matches, as we could tell from the Arsenal and Man City fans who think that the title's between them two again because they've won a friendly against other teams. Unless you're of course Everton fans will tell you it's just friendlies at the moment. And of course there's a Women's World Cup.
We have won two. We have
Hang
won
on.
two and drawn one.
You've won two.
Yeah, I've won two and drawn one.
Oh, well, they're not friendlies then, are they? Obviously, important
No.
competitive matches then. Trophies they are, yeah. For the cabinet that you haven't got.
No, but come
You
on,
have to
but
build
hang
one.
on. You can't mention preseason victories and forget about the preseason giants. That is Tottenham Hotspurs. They've won another trophy. I hear.
Have they? Wow. And Postecoglou's obviously working his magic there already.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know,
anyway, just like to say, this week it's myself, Ed 1, Billy, Ed 25, and Seamus, Ed 20. So, well, what fucking number are you? 46. I don't know. Go by his waist size, 65. That's what it is.
That's being generous. That's kind of futurist. That's
I
kind of futurist.
know, I know. Well, I didn't want to give you a real number because obviously that'd ruin the gag if I gave you a real number. But as we know, that's how you chose your real number, isn't it? You just measured your waist. You went, 77 inches. That'll do. I'll be 77.
Hang on. Let me just take a note of this. How far ahead are we? 2 minutes? Okay, we have to cut this.
What, already?
He means 77. No, even centimeters. Oh, no.
77 centimetres, my ass. Definitely inches. Remember, we've seen your modelling pics. It's definitely inches.
No, those are AI generated.
Yeah, no, you generated them to make yourself look slimmer and you still look huge.
I thought you looked good myself.
Since we,
Compared to us two, we did anyway.
but I don't think we need to formally introduce us anymore because we are household names now. They can
That's
just
true.
recognize by our
That's
voices.
that's why I was thinking on Saturday I should really go to the celeb hangout when I go out, I think. Rather than the normal mall with the ordinary people. I was thinking maybe I should mingle with people like myself, the celebrities, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what Billy was doing when he was out and about in Munich.
Yeah, exactly. It was just
Yeah,
their
it was,
personal
yeah.
appearance, it was. Spreading the word of the podcast.
How did the signings go? I heard there were quite a few fan meetups.
In where?
When you were in Munich, did you
Oh, yeah.
did you get writer's cramp from all the signings?
I was hounded, absolutely hounded.
Did you sign many? I bet you were signing photos day and night, mate. Day and night.
I went through 12 pens just signing autographs.
Yeah, that's because you write big, though. To be fair.
And he made good pens, they were only betting off his pens.
Yeah, they were those little Argos pens.
Yeah.
Does Argos still exist?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Does it? Oh wow. I'm shocked at that. I didn't think that place had managed to keep going.
Yeah, it's still going well.
Right, anyway, should we start off with the transfers? Just catch up on who's gone where.
Yeah, go on, Trish.
You alright with that, Seamus?
Yeah, we can start with that.
Yeah, okay. I've probably missed a few because it's difficult to keep track of them at this time. But first off, Isco's joined Real Betis. Obviously, he was being linked to Everton, so we obviously couldn't afford him because he was
you see the sense.
far too expensive for Everton. Out of their budget, wasn't he? I heard. Was it 2 that Ken Wright said, how much?
He'd say that anyway.
Yeah, that's true, to be fair. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so he's ended up at Real Betis, or Betty as they call it in the area. So, yeah, not a big club at all, but like interestingly, came from Sevilla to Real Betis. They're the two, they're two rivals, like local rivals. It's a bit like going from Everton to Liverpool, except nobody actually cares about the club really, because everyone only cares about Barcelona and Real Madrid really there, to be honest. It's quite an odd place.
Yeah.
Speaking of Everton, Lewis Warrington's gone out on loan to Plymouth. Is he not?
Yeah, I think it's a good move for him. Championship. They're on a bit of a roll. They got promoted as champions last year, and I think it's a good move for him. I think he needed to go on loan. He's still got a lot to learn, Warrington, but I've got high hopes for the lad. Actually, he's quite a good player.
Yeah,
It's only early days. It's only early days yet, but he does look to have a lot of promise.
I was just thinking,
my
point was, I was just wondering, isn't it a bit odd you're letting players go out on loan when when you need to sell lots of players? You might need him in a few weeks.
Yeah, I can see that, but we have got to get some money in for them. We can't afford to pay his wages at the moment, and so he'll be going there, and they'll be paying his wages. So I think it's a good move for him. A bit more experience, but he has only got just over a year left on his contract. He signed a 2-year one back in Christmas. He signed a new 2-year deal. So he's got to renegotiate another contract if I want him, and hopefully they do.
Yeah, good luck to the lad. Like, it's nice to see kids make it, but I just think,
Yeah, it is, yeah.
When you're such a small squad, and then you're sending players out on loan, it's like, who are you going to have left to play? But
I don't think he's going to forget this year. Yeah, give him a bit more opportunity to develop, and hopefully he'll be back next year and try and break into the squad. That's what I'm hoping anyway.
Then there's Matteo Retegui, who left Boca Juniors to join Genoa for €12 million. The reason why I mentioned him is because there was lots of Premier League interest. This is one of the reasons why I mentioned him. One of the teams that was interested in him was West Ham.
This seems to get linked to every player.
No,
it seems to be West Ham.
It was one of the teams. I think Wolves might have been another one. I'm not sure though. I can't remember now.
Oh right, okay.
But definitely West Ham were the main ones that were chasing him. The thing that got me is that's because it's Tim Staten, whoever I don't know how it's pronounced. They've employed this guy, Tim Staten or whatever, however it's pronounced anyway. This guy, he's a recruitment specialist. He's come in, he's recommended all these players, and the reason why Retegui didn't end up going to West Ham is because of Moyes. Basically, didn't want to make the deal happen. And everyone that's been recommended to him, and you've got to remember, this is Moyes that wanted to bring in a recruitment specialist and wanted to improve the scouting network. But now we've brought in this, they've brought in this recruitment specialist, and they've improved the network, and they're starting, Staten's come in and recommended a bunch of players, and Moyes has basically said, nah, I don't want them, I want McTominay, Maguire, etc. It's like, why do they bother doing this? Why do they bring in the Staten? Why did he want someone to come in if he's not going to take any notice of anything he recommends? And then I don't understand the thinking there. It was him that wanted all this, and now that it's in there, he doesn't seem to want to take any notice of anything. He just wants the same crap he just recommended. Which is unfair, actually. That's harsh on McTominay. He's not crap if he was played right. He's just not great. You know what I mean? And there's not much improvement.
I'm not a fan, I'll be honest. We were linked with him since the end of the season, and Nothing's come of it. Probably because we can't afford him. But it's not the biggest loss for me. I'm not that big a fan of his. He's a grafter, but I don't think he's got what we need, which is a bit of skill in midfield.
Yeah, I don't think he's really a midfielder. I think he's either a centre back or a striker who plays in midfield because they can't find space for him up front or in the back. I don't think he's a top class. I think he's a better defender than he is a striker, but I think he score goals if you put him up front. So he's very cool, collected up when he's got a chance, like. But he's definitely, for me, I think Scotland have got him right. Play him in defence. He's better on the ball than most defenders, and he's a good defensive player.
Yeah, maybe in defence, yeah.
Yeah, that's not where, I'm quite sure that's not where Moyes will want to use him. I think he'll play him alongside Souček to replace Rice, and that would be embarrassing because he's just not the same type of player.
No, he's not, no.
Not the same quality at all, is he, Seamus?
No, absolutely not. But
he's a bit of a conundrum because he's not a defensive midfielder at number 6, and he's not like mobile enough and positionally aware enough to be a number 8 either.
No,
and he doesn't have the passing to be more of a creative operator either. He's just like somewhere in between, but not quite sure what he actually is.
He's a bit of a utility player, really, isn't he? He can fill in, but he's not good enough to actually take over any of those roles.
No.
On a permanent basis.
But personally, I think it's the right time for him to move on.
Yeah.
Maybe at a different team with different expectations, different setups, he might excel. But like Chris said, for a midfielder, he's very good in front of goal, actually.
Well, he was a striker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm aware of that, and I also don't know why he got moved back, especially when he became so tall.
And you're desperate for strikers, aren't you?
Yeah,
that's you haven't got one.
Say. But you don't play a target man, but you do play someone who holds up the ball and brings others into it. Surely that might be somewhere he could do a job for a season while you find the proper one.
Who knows, we might have found someone.
Yeah, Hoyland.
Who's that? Oh, Hoyland, yeah. We're after his dregs, aren't we? We're after Bilal Toure.
Oh well, Bilal Toure,
yeah.
Sorry,
yeah. And he's only going if he's staying if Holland goes, I think. But I don't know.
No, I think he's gonna move to Atlanta anyways.
Yeah, I think he was the replacement.
Yeah, it looks that way. It does look that way.
Yeah.
No, I think he was initially looked at as an option to replace one of Zapata or Murillo.
Yeah, I think he'll go there either way.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, we'll move on before we get stuck on Man United because there's them again later. Yeah, Igor. He's fresh from the. Wasn't he the man, the helper to Dr. Frankenstein?
Igor, that was, yeah.
Anyway, he's joined Brighton from Fiorentina, Brazilian defender.
Oh yeah, I read about him, yes. 17 million was he? Was he 17 million he paid for?
Euros. So I don't know how much was that, like 14 million quid, something like that, 15 million maybe? Bit low.
Yeah, about 15. Yeah, about 15, I'd say.
Yeah, so...
Never seen him. He's seen much of interest.
I've not seen much of him at all, I don't think. I've seen Fiorentina play, so I missed his last season, so I must have seen him play. But I don't remember him, but I was looking at I can't remember what I was watching it for, somebody on the other team. So, I wasn't really taking much notice, that doesn't mean he wasn't bad. Because, you know...
How about you, Deets? Have you seen much of him?
No, not at all.
Oh,
Like
right, okay.
we said, even like I am aware of some players at Fiorentina. I've seen bits and bobs, but I've never noticed him. I'm quite
No,
surprised.
no.
Just, I mean, I don't even know whether he played in the games I watched. That's how how different. But that doesn't mean he's not good. It might just mean that he just didn't stand out as bad. Because you do remember mostly the ones that were really bad, make lots of mistakes or something, or the ones that were really good. So, with a defender, not not being remembered is not actually necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Um, Next up, we got Raul Jimenez joining Fulham from Wolves, £5 million. See, I think that's
Yeah.
a good move for Wolves. Though,
Do you know what? He was a hell of a player before he had that head
yeah,
injury. I really liked him, but
gone
he
since.
seems to have lost his way, and it might do a little bit of good to actually move on. And I hope it does. Hope it works out for him, because there's no doubt about his ability. But he seems to have got either gone stale there, or he hasn't fitted in. Because we all know there's a player in there, and this might be the move he needs.
Do you not think
To be
his
honest with you.
ball's just gone after that head
I don't
injury?
know. I don't know whether it is Triska, because he come back, and I thought he was early doors. But I've seen him play a couple of times last year, and he still seems a good player to me. But I don't think he fits in at Wolves no more. I think they've moved on, and so you know, sometimes players have got to move to resurrect their career, and I think this hopefully is one of them.
Do you know Wolves are interesting? I mean, everyone's saying about them having a fire sale, but they've got a lot of crap there, basically on the fringes that they weren't good enough players that they needed rid of. That George Mendes brought to the club. So I'm not so sure, but the worrying thing is, I've noticed Fosun have put up Grasshoppers, the other club they own. They put them up for sale.
All right.
So perhaps there actually is something in the fire sale, and maybe the next thing we'll know is Wolverhampton Wanderers are getting a new owner, because it does seem like
Yeah.
they're getting out of football by the looks of it. Because you don't sell your feeder club, yeah,
No.
if you're serious about what you're doing.
They've got to get rid of that Tory terrible player,
He's gone.
Adama Troy.
He's gone.
Oh, is he gone?
Yeah, his contract was
Oh,
up in
where's he gone
January, and they
to?
didn't renew it. So I don't know. He hasn't found anywhere yet.
No. Because some lads on the Everton site were saying, why don't we go in for Traore this week, and the start of the week? And I didn't know he'd gone, because we were getting linked with him, them, them stupid like news now outlets and all that. That Everton might go in for Adama Traore. But if he's gone, thank God for that.
Yeah, that's a big plus for them getting rid of him. But they have lost quite a few players. Be interesting to see what happens with them. I mean, they're still sending players out on loan as well. It's quite
Yeah.
yeah. You do wonder if it is them basically saying goodbye. Just feel like it, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Am I the only one that feels like they're trying to pull out of there?
Well, they were talking about on TalkSport. I listened to a bit of TalkSport one morning, and they were talking about they are relegation candidates for this year. I don't know how true that is, but the couple of the presenters there had them in a relegation fight this year. How true that is, I don't know, but and what's happening at the club, I'm not sure, but they had them down as potential fallers this year.
Now, well, if if there is uncertainty behind the scenes,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There could be something to do with that, the
yeah,
uncertainty about the club.
that does tend to lead to you know what I mean. That does. If there's problems, you do tend to find teams struggle to perform if they have
Yeah,
problems.
yeah.
Be quite sad. It'd be quite a shame if they go down. To be honest, at least they're quite an interesting club to watch. as in like they just seem interesting, you know what I mean? And also, there's far too many London clubs, so it's nice to have other teams from somewhere else
Yeah.
in the league for a bit. Yeah, anyway, shall we move on to the next one? Is Sam Surridge, who's left Nottingham Forest to go to Nashville in the MLS for $4.5 million. The reason why, I mean, the Forest desperately need to trim their squad down, obviously, but he never really got a chance since they got promotion. It's quite odd. He seemed to look a decent player in the Championship. Seemed to be a goal scorer, but then it all fell up. Just never got a chance. I don't know whether
Yeah, they're a funny club, aren't they? The way they recruit in bunches, and I think they signed something like 17 players last year or something, didn't they?
20 odd.
Oh, was it 20 odd? Oh, it was 17 that I counted.
23, I think it was in total. And
Was it
some of them were
23?
just some of them were just a loan to his other club, Olympiacos, which is really bizarre. One of them they signed from Blackpool, loaned him to Olympiacos. Then after the first 6 months, Olympiacos decided they didn't want him. But because he'd already played for Blackpool that season, he couldn't play for. They sent him back thinking they could play him for Nottingham Forest, but he couldn't play for Forest because he'd already played for 2 clubs that season. They had to loan him back to Blackpool, which is the most bizarre.
Yeah.
Shambolic their recruitment last season, so seems a bit more, bit cleverer this season. So
Yeah.
should give them a better chance of settling into the Premier League if they can be a bit cleverer with their transfer policy.
Right. Yeah, very much so.
And there's
That'd be interesting.
ex-Crystal Palace forward Roy Hodgson signing Alexander Sorloth. Do you remember him? Big fella.
No, I don't remember him.
Striker he was, but they played him on the wing all the time for some reason. He plays a lot on the wing, I don't know why, and he's left RB Leipzig to join Villarreal for nearly 10 million euros. Sorry.
All right.
So he managed to recover from the disaster. He was a disaster at Crystal Palace. I mean, it really didn't work for him. It was an absolute sham. That's why I just saying this case, some players can still rebuild their career when they go, even if they fail. Burnley have bought a new youngster from Espanyol B, Luca Cheo. I don't know him, not seen anything of him. Either of you two seen anything of him?
No, I certainly haven't. Just getting back to Palace just for a second. Is Sahar gone as well?
Yeah, he's in the list. Next, he's joined Galatasaray
Oh, sorry.
on a free. That's alright, he's joined Galatasaray on a free, so not got the move he was obviously thinking he'd get.
No.
Well, he's gonna get to play in the Champions League. That's what he wanted.
Yeah, but he thought he was going to have a
maybe.
big Champions League club, didn't he? And he's ended up at Galatasaray. You don't even pay wages half the time.
Yeah, but it is a big club and it is a Champions League club. It's not a big Champions League club.
It's not a club that you'd want to play. It's not a club with that tend to pay the wages and stuff as well. So you can just see that ending in tears soon enough.
Was there no fee involved there? He was out of contract, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's out of contract for free.
Oh, right, okay.
But who did move for a fee? 15 million to Forest, going back to Forest from Man United, Anthony Elanga.
Rhythm is a dancer, Anthony Elanga. What a cat.
Oh god. If I'd known you were going to
No. That's not the thing. There's something else that needs to be discussed yet again when we discuss this transfer. Anthony Elanga has more than 50 appearances for Manchester United.
Yeah.
Right.
And some of the players who I'm pretty sure none of us can actually name that are leaving Manchester City have never even got on the bench, and they get more money for them. How? How does it happen?
Oh, because they won the title, people think they're worth more.
No,
even though they're not in the team.
No, there's a difference. But we're selling Anthony Elanga with Premier League experience.
Yeah, no, I mean you look at
And
Alex Telles.
if they're saying if they were selling someone like a Cole Palmer or Rico Lewis, and they were going for quite a lot of money. You can understand because you've seen them
Mm.
show their potential.
Yeah.
Just like I'm aware, if Garnacho was sold or was to be sold this window, it'd get much more than 15 million. It's some different potential, but I just don't understand how Anthony Elanga is 15 and Shea Charles, was it, who moved to Southampton actually,
Mm.
not even a Premier League team, was also something very similar to that fee.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? They're ex-City employees. Probably still on the frigging payroll, let's be honest. That's how they get around FFP, isn't it? We know it. It's just another scam.
Well, aren't Liverpool supposed to be paying nearly 50 million for Lavia, who come from Manchester City to Southampton last year?
Yeah, but
He's only played 1 year.
Yeah, but he still played a year in the Premier League, and the reason why we're having, the fees so high that everyone's being put off is because let's be honest, we don't even know Liverpool are going to pay that much. Everyone's been put off.
No, we don't know.
But yeah, the reason why the fee's so high is because Southampton gave Manchester City a huge
Sell on and a
sell-on
buyback.
fee. Yeah, and there's a buyback clause, which is like part of the thing. I mean, how did they end up with Man City getting such favourable terms for a player that at the time had never even played for the first team?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Dietrich mentioned it about Elanga, who's played 50 times for Manchester United. And, a player who Man City got rid of last year is covered in at 45 to 50 million. Just seems strange, doesn't it, for players who haven't had much experience?
No, Billy. With Lavia, it's different. Like I'm saying with Garnacho, I used it as an example. With Lavia, you've seen the guy play in the Premier League, excel, so very good potential, and also so that they're ready to contribute for the first team from the get-go.
Yeah.
But with the likes of Shea Charles, that keeper, Trafford,
yeah, he was awful in the final.
They're costing somewhere similar to the price that an Anthony Elanga, a young Anthony Elanga as well. It's not like he's 25, 30 and has City ceiling either. I just don't understand how both of these moves make sense financially. One surely is a bit confusing at least.
I don't think anyone would pay more than 15 for Elanga, would they?
Yeah, but
I think we offered 10.
No, Billy, my problem isn't so much so that it's 15 for Elanga. I think somewhere around 20, 25 might have been his maximum value that we could have gotten for him. But my point is, for the teams like Southampton, like Burnley, who've spent 15 odd million on youth players that have absolutely zero Premier League experience, they could have gone in for Anthony Elanga.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah. Well, we got him for very strongly.
They're not your Aston Villas or your... who else was there? Or your Newcastle, who can take a risk on potential and get away with it. That move, if it doesn't come off, can... Let's say the players they've signed for Man City aren't quite first team ready yet. I'm not saying they're bad players. Let's say they're not quite ready, then it just makes absolutely no sense for me to be spending 15, 20 million on literally young kids.
Yeah.
With no experience of first team football.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got somewhere judging them in their first team football, you can understand it, but you don't pay for somebody's kit in a youth team players.
Yeah, my issue is
like
those players are coming straight from the academy. Straight out of the academy. They've not made some sub appearances here and there, shown like flashes of brilliance, raw potential. Not at all.
tells you a lot about them that they haven't been in and around the first team squad, which suggests they can't be that standout amazingly ready. Because they've not been, they've not stood out enough for the manager to think, you know what, I want to have a look at these. Especially,
And by the way, this is the same manager who would rather name 7 subs on the bench instead of the allowed 9.
yeah, because even though he's got all these kids, well, why doesn't he put 2 of them on the bench?
Yeah.
Suggests he doesn't think they're good enough. So how can they be, if they're not good enough, how can they be getting such big fees for them? It makes no sense. There is definitely a scam going on.
It is quite fishy. It is quite fishy. It is quite fishy. Maybe it's nothing that serious. Maybe it is. Who knows? After all, we're talking about a club with 100 plus breaches of financial fair play rules
Yeah.
being investigated over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've already been found guilty of most of them by UEFA. So.
Yeah, but no upshot yet to it, is there? They haven't been banned from anywhere yet or lost any titles yet.
No,
But whether that comes, I don't know.
Let's face it, we all know nothing's going to come of it anyway, is there?
I don't think it will, Tris, no.
No, actually, Tris, I'm sorry, Billy. I have to bring this up again. I know
Go on.
Chris's head is already too swollen, but like we've seen with people's response to Lance Armstrong, I don't think
Yeah.
people are gonna think any less of City even if they were found guilty.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, I think we're not too far away from hearing people's give excuses like, well, they would have still won the league without Julian Alvarez on the bench, or who else was their bench, or Nathan Ake on the bench 3 years ago, and things like that.
Completely forgetting that they could have afforded it's players like Aguero that it's paid for. That's the problem, is people will miss the point and think it's players like Ake out on the bench that it would have paid for, when it's not. It's players like Aguero in the early days, in particular, that are coming this. I mean, he was on 350 grand a week, and that was a few years back, you know. They couldn't have that if they were legitimate. There's absolutely no way, because there simply wasn't the earnings in the club at the time when they signed him. So, yeah, anyway, I think we've touched. Well, we better move on, hadn't we? We always end up seem to have
any more Forest transfers?
Well, they're still waiting on Henderson. No, there is another one. Ola Aina from Torino on a free, ex-Chelsea player. Left back, isn't he? Or is he a right back?
No, I think he was right back. Right back, who's played left back. He spent a year on loan at Fulham as well, from Torino.
I'm sure
the last time Fulham were The last time Fulham were promoted, not this one. I think he played a few games for Fulham as well.
Can't say I remember him being any good.
But don't remember him being that horrible either.
No, he's just a bit nothing, wasn't he? But like, maybe that's what they need. But got loads of right. Oh no, because they lost what's his face, didn't they? The one they had last season. So they were down to just Nico Williams. Who was the one they had? Oh,
Aurier, Serge Aurier. Serge Aurier.
Yes, that's him. Yeah. Anyway, shall we move on to Villa midfielder Morgan Sanson has gone out on loan to Nice. He had injury problems, didn't he? So he never really able to see what he could do. There were times when he looked really decent, but still young enough to make some odd, but his injury problems, I think he's pretty much sits on the down low. Then there's...
I think that's his Premier League career. I think that's his Premier League career over in all.
Pretty much, yeah, I think so as well. It'd take a massive shock, massively good season for him to get another chance, I think, in the Premier League. Speaking of players whose Premier League career looks to be over, Marcel Sabitzer was on loan at Man United last season. Gone to Dortmund from Bayern. It's obviously unusual because they normally go the other way. Only 19 million euros. What's that? 15 million quid-ish?
Yeah, that's 16. Yeah, that's 16 at the rate now.
Not a big money buy, which kind of impressed all that much at Man United. I don't really remember what he was like, to be honest, at Man United.
He scored a couple of goals, didn't he?
Yeah, he was all right. He wasn't brilliant, but he wasn't poor either. But he, even in that 6 month period, he did manage to miss quite a few games with injuries.
And one of your favourites, Chris, Davinson Sanchez has gone as well, hasn't he? From
Not yet.
Spurs.
They're trying to force him out. They want to sell him, but he hasn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go there, which seems a bit odd. I don't know why he doesn't want to go there. It's not like anybody else would want him.
Yeah, but
I know you're not a big fan.
it's Russia. It's Russia.
He's got a brain the size
That's right,
of a
Moscow,
pin.
wasn't it? Spartak Moscow was a teach
Yes,
within
yeah.
home.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was Spartak Moscow. Good point. That's why he doesn't want to go. I understand now. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to make that move either, personally.
Not this time, no.
No, I don't think I'd want to move to Spartak Moscow at any time, to be honest. Especially not like he's black, so like that's they have real problems with racism there. I really can't see why you'd want to move there, to be honest. Yeah. Hey.
No.
Anyway, Harvey Barnes gone to Newcastle from Leicester, 40 million.
Not a bad deal that for Newcastle. I think I like Harvey Barnes. I think he's pretty decent. I think he'll do well there.
What do you think, Seamus?
He's replacing Alan Saint-Maximin, who I'm sure we're gonna get to.
Yeah.
Didn't they spend somewhere around 40 million on a young English winger who played in blue at the start of last season?
Yeah. 60 million, wasn't it?
No, it was 45.
40 million. 40
Oh,
million
yeah,
offered.
it was 60 in the summer they were linked to him for, wasn't it? And then it.
Yeah, I think it was 40 plus 5 add-ons, something like that.
But maybe Andy Gordon's no longer a winger now because he played as a striker for the under-21s. So.
No.
Yeah, he had a good tournament actually. He had a good tournament for the under-21s.
To be fair, Seamus, I must say, he was very impressive. Obviously, it's only against other under-21s in that, but he was very impressive for England under-21s. Just
Yeah,
pace,
he was, yeah.
Just because his pace. It wasn't like he was particularly It wasn't like he was showed massive skill or anything. He was just really quick and scared the shit out of the opponents.
Yeah.
His pace. Gotta say, he doesn't show it. I can't see how he can make a winger at all. He's got no skill. Can't beat a man to save his life, could he?
Well, he can, but he has to use pace. He's all pace, Anthony Gordon. And, he will beat people because of his pace, but he hasn't got the skill of someone, who's, you'd say, is a really good winger. It's all about pace with him. All about pace.
And he's not particularly good.
I can sum him up. Sorry to cut you off, Chris. I've been sitting on this for more than a week. I can cut you off and summarize him with just one line. I think it's fair to say Anthony Gordon is all fart and no poop.
Oh, God.
I've waited more than a week to get this in.
Oh my God. Do you think it was worth it? Oh, bless you. Well, I'm glad you got it off your chest anyway. Oh. So anyway, back to Harvey Barnes. Do you think he'll be a good signing for them, Seamus? Oh, we know Billy does.
Yeah, I do.
I think he's gonna be a decent option for them because Newcastle are a hard-working team, like to press. He's got some pace, but he's not that spectacular either, though.
not very skillful, but works hard, and
Yeah, he's a grafter.
just hustle and bustle, and he can hit a shot. But yeah, he's for me, he's a very average player, and I think Newcastle, for the level they should be aiming at, I think he's not quite there, to be honest.
I think for 14 million, he's going to be a good squad player for them. I don't say he's going to start every week. 14 million, yeah. That, I think it's a decent player. You know.
40.
Yeah, 14.
No, 40.
No.
Oh, I thought it was 14.
No, 40. 40.
Yeah,
Oh,
14.
right. Oh,
If he was 14, then I would have said
Yeah.
he's a bargain.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah.
That makes
I honestly thought it was 14. I must have read the wrong article there.
no,
But,
40. 40.
Oh, right. Oh, that's a big gamble on 40 million.
Exactly. That's what when you're spending that kind of money, you need a finished product, and I don't think he's that. I think he's fine if you're just as a backup, as cover, because he can play either wing, from what I've seen of him. But I don't see the quality there for the next step up, for Champions League football and that. I just don't see it.
No, possibly. I thought it was a lot less than that.
It grafts, so we won't let them down, but I wouldn't have said £40 million worth. No. Speaking of probably not worth 40 million or 4 million in his case, there's Everton's big signing on a loan for a fee of 3.5 million. Arnaud Danjuma from Villarreal. You couldn't even get in the Spurs team.
But you can't count that as anything because Spurs are a joke, aren't they? He never got the chance. He never got the chance, did he? He never though. How could I hope for him this season? And no big deal, 3.5 million. Send him back if he's not good enough. I don't mind transfers like that.
All last season he was shite and we didn't want him anyway. Now he's signed for them. He's a really good signing for that price, yeah.
Well, we've got to live in hope, haven't we? I want him to be good.
Do you know what? I've no idea whether he's any good or not, to be honest.
It's like I think Billy is right. New season, it's a clean slate, so he's a good player again.
Absolutely, yeah. Until that's it. And otherwise,
he could turn out to be brilliant for them because, they needed him.
Yeah, the ceiling, the bar isn't high.
That's true.
it's not now. But he's got pace. And he scored a few goals as well. So why not for 3.5 million? It's nothing these days, is it?
It's nothing for a lot of clubs. For Everton, that's half the sum of it.
Isn't that their entire budget gone? Because that's their only signing, isn't it?
Up to now, because we're offering 20 for the other fella, Ballatore. So there must be money there if they're offering money like that. And we were in for a Langer apparently. I know Forrest got him for 15. I think we offered 10 for Langer. But we've got to give these lads a chance, haven't we? It's not a bad signing. I think unless I find out otherwise, I think it's not a bad bit of business by Everton.
If you're willing to spend 20 million at the moment, I don't know why you're not in for Alex Scott from Bristol City.
Oh.
That's the price they're looking for.
No, we don't seem to buy youngsters with potential. We look for the finished article on the cheap. That's what Everton do at the moment.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. You don't get them on the cheap if they're the finished article because they wouldn't be cheap.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. But that's what we seem to be looking at to try and get a miracle in, you know what I mean? Someone who's going to be a brilliant signing, but not a lot of money. That's Everton's situation at the moment.
Yeah, well, you haven't got a lot of choice. Still need to sell a few as well, don't you?
Yeah. I've got a feel now Nani might go, actually. There's rumours going round that he might be on his way.
It went all quiet on him. I expected him to be gone by now, but no one seemed to come in for him when everyone's going after Lavia and that.
Yeah,
Nobody's
yeah.
considered him. I'm very surprised that nobody's considered him. It just shows he mustn't have had as good a season as
I'm not his biggest fan, I'll be honest with you. I've never been his biggest fan since he come. Uh, he's like Seamus said, a fart without the end product. But he's got all the attributes to be a good player, but he's certainly not there yet. You're only buying potential if you buy Onana.
and Song
Yeah.
for the fans. I mean, that's got to be worth a few quid, hasn't it, for the fans to sing him?
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on, we've got leaving Leverkusen to join Villa for 50 million quid. Moussa Diaby, winger.
Yeah.
I've not seen a lot. Again, another player I've not seen a lot of. I watched fair bit of the Bundesliga last season, but obviously, you only watch bits and bobs of it. You don't watch. You don't only get to see players once or twice a season, and
It's a lot of money to lay out, isn't it? Even for the likes of Villa, who are on the up by the looks of it. It's a big fee, isn't it? It is a big
the
fee.
owner's got plenty of money. The problem Villa have got is they're constrained by FFP limits, and more importantly, by getting players who want to actually join Villa has been a big problem. They've been trying to spend big for a while, and players are just not interested in joining Villa because they're not in they weren't in Europe, so that holds them back.
Yeah.
He's a very good. He looked a very good player for Leverkusen. So did Leon Bailey, to be fair.
Exactly. That's what worries me.
But I'll be honest. I am a bit surprised that Diaby ended up at Villa. I would have thought his next move would be to a Champions League level club. I would have thought he would have been a good purchase back for PSG as well.
Yeah, because he's another one of the ex-PSG lot, isn't he? One of our large.
Yeah, like half of the Bundesliga, Liga, and everyone. Half the league is filled with PSG youngsters.
It's shocking how bad they've been with their setup. To let so many great youngsters just walk away for nothing, and pretty much, for peanuts at best. Only to have them prove themselves to be more than good enough to have made it there if they'd been given the chance.
Yeah.
And there is a long list of them. And Kunku's the one that stands out a mile. But there's so many of them. Anyway, moving on to star players who stand out. After his starring role for Liverpool last season on loan, Arda Mello has joined Fiorentina on loan this season from Juve. So obviously impressed so much they thought they'd pay 2 million quid for him. What the hell? Sorry, 2 million euros. What on earth in that last season made another club think, do you know what? I think he'd be a good signing for us. And then pay a loan fee as well for him. He played one appearance. He only played wasn't it 30 minutes or something, and then he spent the rest of the season injured. And I know that can be bad luck or anything, you know what I mean? But still, I mean, it's if you're spending money on a loan signing, you want them to be quality and actually going to be fit and play for you, don't you?
Yeah, you do, yeah. I never actually seen him the game he played. I didn't see nothing of him. He was a ghost to me on the bench, but never actually seen him come on and play. I must have missed the game that he played.
I think it was League Cup match against lower league opposition, if I remember correctly. Was it Rotherham or someone like that he faced? I can't remember now. It wasn't like a full game, and even then he struggled. He looked completely out of his depth. So, it's just to surprise anybody wanted him. Really shocking. Speaking of surprises, then, I don't think anyone's surprised by the fact that Jordan Henderson's confirmed his exit from Liverpool and joined Al Ettifaq alongside Steven Gerrard.
Yeah. I heard, as I say, I do listen to a bit of talk sport, and they were talking to Heitinger, who's
Oh,
the
God.
still the open gay footballer, and he wasn't very happy with him at all, I must say. But you have to move on from that now, and you know, he's gone, and I think he's spoiled his legacy a bit. But Jurgen Klopp had great words for him to say today about him. That he'll be a Liverpool legend, and he probably will.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, he's a good player. Good player, no doubt about it. He's a good player.
Great.
Great captain. Great captain. Good player. But still not happy the way he went. But nothing to do with me, so I'm going to leave that one alone.
Well, you know, obviously, the big thing is he'd taken a stance on LGBTQ plus rights and all that. Like, and you know, people are saying, "Oh, he just did it for the money and all," you know, just did it for the exposure and all that. And I'm quite sure he didn't. He's doing this for the money. I'm quite sure he did that because he actually believes in it. But like, you know, why should he? Why should that stop him from earning money when it's? You know, I'm disappointed.
Because he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it.
Because he's done that.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, if you're in his position and somebody says to you, you can earn more than your lifetime's earning in a couple of years, you know, set up your family. It's hard to say you wouldn't jump at the chance if you were in his position, and let's be honest.
If you've got 23 million in the bank, I don't think you say. I think you say no, personally. But I'm not. I'm not his standard of wealth. But 23 million's a lot to have, and he was still on good money. He could have still been on good money at Liverpool. 190,000 a week or something.
Yeah, but the point is, at Liverpool, he was unwanted now. Liverpool have made it clear that they wanted him to go. They wanted him. They wanted to take the money and get the wages off the books. So I think the issue was, like I said last time we discussed this, the issue is, what other options did he have on the table, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Who would have paid 12 million for him at 33 years old? I don't think anybody else would. So I think basically his option was he either go there or he sits on the sidelines at Liverpool and is. And So I think in the end, I don't think he had much of a choice, really, to be honest.
I like the different outcome. That's all I'll say. I like the different outcome for Henderson because I did have respect for him, especially as a captain. I thought he was a half-decent footballer, but I really think that, you know, his legacy of being what I think was a great captain, a really great captain for Liverpool. Spoils it a bit for me, but that's just my view. You know, most people would say good luck to him. You know what I mean? But still, a lot of them have on the site. They've said good luck to him. You know, he's gone for the money. But be honest and say you've gone for the money. You know, don't say I'm going to further my career because the standard's crap. And you know, you're going for the money. Just come out and say, listen, I've been offered a load of money, a shed load of money. I'm going for that. Fair enough, I'd have more respect for him if he's just come out and said that, to be honest.
Working with Steven Gerrard, his mate, and you know, it's kind of like it makes sense for him as a person himself. If you put aside all the other stuff, you know, him paying, and you got to say, at the end of the day, the LGBTQ thing, it isn't his fight anyway, so. He's, you know, it's really not.
I think it's everyone's fight, really. But
no, you got a point there.
You know what I'm saying? It's everyone's fight, that. But I know what you're saying, and you know, he didn't have to put himself out there to do that. You know what I mean? But once he did, to go back on it a bit tacky for me. But you know, the lad will earn a lot of money, and he'll be with his friend Steven Gerrard. He might fancy the climate. He might fancy the, you know, not being as competitive a league as that. I think he'll do very well there. But it's still a bit of a tinge for me. But there you go. As I say, I'm not going to decry him. You know, a bit disappointing. So.
At least, actually, quickly before we Before we go on, just wanted to touch on something while we were talking about the LGBTQ thing, because as you know, the Women's World Cup's on at the moment. Is anyone either
Yeah.
of you watching it? I don't know.
I watched the first England game, which was very poor, to be honest with you. England were very poor. They're like Everton, they can't score.
But I'm quite excited here because, like, the Philippines won their first ever game. You know, they've only just, it's the first time they've qualified and they won their second match. So,
Yeah.
you know, they've won a game. Though you've got to say their team looks like they've joined the Jack Charlton School of recruitment. I think they're more Filipino than any of their players. I think they've just literally gone, who's come here on holiday that can play football? Cause there's not. Anyway, yeah. So they. But that wasn't what I wanted to talk. Just while we were on the LGBT, I see that, you know, and this is going to be really difficult to talk about, and like it's a really awkward subject, and you can't win no matter I say. But I noticed Canada have a trans player in their team. Now I've got nothing against trans athletes or the LGBTQ thing. I mean, it really is. I don't care what you are or anything like that. But you know, and I know you're not allowed to question any of this kind of thing, or you get accused of homophobia. But I've got to ask: is it fair that they can have her in the? Well, hang on, sorry, I'm going to have to restart what I was going to say. I was going to say her in the team, but even that is not. Well, this is a Women's World Cup.
That's not a her.
Well, yeah,
that's
this is
not
what I
a
was going
her.
to say. This is a Women's World Cup, but this is not a woman. They, and it is they, them that they wish to be known as, not her or she.
Yeah.
It's they, them, so they're not even identifying themselves as a woman, but they're playing in a Women's World Cup. You know, I don't care that they want to be known by a single name, or whether they sleep with men, women, or both, or whatever. None of it's relevant to me. What matters is, if even they are not calling themselves a woman, is it not cheating and giving Canada an advantage in the competition?
Of course it's cheating. Of course it's cheating. They're made different. Men and women are made different. Like, do you reckon that the best woman Wimbledon player, tennis player, wouldn't get in the top 500 men? You know, that's the difference, because they're made different. The bodies are different. You know, so for a man to who originally starts out as a man to go to women's football is not on for me. I think it's cheap. I really do.
Well, even if started out as a woman, but they've got male hormones and that, they'll be more, you know, they'll have stronger muscle, denser muscle, bones and stuff on there, stronger muscles or whatever. I believe. I'm not, you know, obviously I'm not an expert on this, but they you know, they'll have a physical advantage. So if it's not about them having an advantage, why are they not taking part in the men's game instead? See, for me, it just feels like, I mean, going back to the Lance Armstrong thing, it just feels like, to me, it's cheating, but you can't question it because you just get accused of bigotry or homophobia or whatever. A bit like when Lance Armstrong was cheating and you couldn't question him because he would just roll out the cancer card. Yeah, but I had cancer. And you couldn't question it then because he was, you know, because then you were shitting on cancer sufferers, even though it's got nothing to do with the fact that he had cancer, that he cheated. Apart from the fact that he now believes himself that it was what caused his cancer in the first place. So, yeah, he just shut down the conversation. So I think there needs to be a conversation about, because the Women's World Cup should be for women. It's unfair on them to have the...
Yeah, it is, yeah.
This, and so I understand that by then taking out the LGBT, the trans people from the game, that's then unfair on them because they can say they've got nowhere to play. But I don't see why they can't either. You know, like the women have their own. Why can't they have their own? Or if it's not about having an unfair advantage against which they have got against women, why don't they play in the men's game? It's a very touchy subject. It's a very touchy subject. You know, you're the worst in the world if you've got an opinion on it. To be honest with you, you can.
It's just not for me. It doesn't sit right for me. You know, if you're born a woman, playing the woman's game. If you're born a man, you play in the men's game. Or, as you say, start a league for trans, and that's okay as well. But to mix them, it isn't right for me.
I'd have no problem it being mixed if it was if it was like, the sport was like motor racing, where you have men and women compete on the same track. Doesn't make any difference whether you're male or female. You're in the team. You're in a car. That's it. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female. You just compete on the same track. So if you got, if you that's the way to go in long term. Is everyone just plays in the same team, and who cares whether you're male, female, or in between both, whatever. Because it shouldn't really matter, but physically it does. It is like them having the Lance Armstrong drug advantage for against the rest, and that doesn't seem fair to me. And I don't. And it's only women that seem to be the ones that are suffering because of it. It seems even more, seems unfair. I know Seamus isn't saying anything. He's the clever one. He's keeping out of the conversation, so he doesn't get jumped on. Well, we're going to get abuse for this off someone.
I'm still waiting to see what he identifies as myself.
Yeah, that's a good point. Which is it, Seamus? You Irish, don't you?
No, I identify as the smart one.
Yeah, absolutely. Nepalese Irish. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He definitely doesn't. He can identify as a smart one, but that's proof that no matter what you choose to identify as, you might not necessarily be it.
No, but I think it's a very tricky thing to comment on. But I completely agree with the sentiments Trace is saying. It's like there are, whether we like it or not, but there are certain biological differences between a male and a female.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
And those biological differences show out in physical differences as well. Yeah, the strongest woman in the world is gonna be much more stronger than me, but an average female no. This is not the kind of topic you want to be cracking. You're skating on ice. But the average woman that I come across, they're naturally gonna be weaker than me. I think that's the case for most of men. Now, I've on record said many a times that I am the worst football player that I've ever seen. But I'm pretty sure if I were to get on in a woman's field, then although I'm technically horrendous, but my normal strength that I guess cancel out in male football would be quite profound, and I would say be shown too much. Something similar would probably be happening with a lot of the trans women. I don't know whether they're trans women or trans men, but the transgender people. If a man is gonna enter into the female arena, then sure, he may not be physically more gifted than the premier women's athlete, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna outshine the average woman athlete.
Yeah.
Well, if he's trained to the same degree, doing the same training, then he's got an advantage, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, just as an example for someone who is gonna. I know we don't get many people to actually come at us, but if anyone was to come at us, then I will just share with you one very small detail that I just learned today. The nails that men have rank higher in the hardness scale than the nails of female.
Really? Didn't know that.
Yeah, I was reading like on average women's nails, they rank at somewhere closer to on the Mohs hardness scale, whereas men is 2.5.
Okay. can believe it though, because I've actually broken nail clippers on my toenails. I used to have to soak them in a bath for ages before they, so they get seriously, because he used to just break the nail clippers.
No, those are the differences that occur naturally. It doesn't matter what people identify themselves as, what they feel
Yeah.
like as, but that's mostly gonna be there by birth.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say so.
it's definitely it is just, if they're not, like I said, if it's not about gaining an unfair advantage, then there's no reason why they couldn't continue to play in men's sport.
Mm.
Otherwise, you know, it's.
If the world can accommodate a whole new array of genders, then surely there's enough space for a new gender category in the sport as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like there's, you know, it's not like they can't manage it. There's plenty of people watching football. There's surely there'll be enough to follow in others watching of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I won't wait for the abuse to be.
The fallout.
But then we get that anyway. That's just your wife, isn't it, Billy? When you get up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
How long have you been on that computer? Yeah.
Yeah. Could you do a bit of decorating instead of talking on the computer?
Yeah. So all you do is talk. Yeah. Yeah, we know how it is. We know. Yeah, and we know how much you love decorating as well. So.
Yeah, I do, yeah. Go. It's my favourite pastime.
Yeah. Speaking of favourites, I think we need to mention one of my all-time favourite players, even though he did play for Manchester City for a while, which kind of ruined his legacy for me. But you know, David Silva retired today.
What a player. What a player. One of the best to ever grace the Premiership for me. Fantastic talent.
I loved him. He actually made. See, I think without him, City have not looked as entertaining to watch without him.
No. He had fantastic skill, didn't he? And he's totally retired now, isn't he? Totally
Yeah,
retired.
today, sadly.
It's a sad end actually to his career. He got is it an anterior cruciate ligament injury?
Anterior, yeah.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
done it. He done his ACL.
ACL.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah,
Such a
very good player, though. Yeah,
Just
yeah, I agree with
fabulous
this.
to watch, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a game changer. He absolute game changer, you know. He could pick a pass. You know, they talk about De Bruyne being good at picking a pass and that, you know. But he was outstanding. Absolutely
It was the
outstanding.
little threaded passes that he was good at. The little,
Yeah,
the ones that just open.
yeah,
He'd draw in 3 or 4 players, and then somehow he'd manage to thread a ball through all these players surrounding him to someone in the space that had
yeah.
been created by his movement. He was special, truly
But
special talent.
since Billy did bring him up, De Bruyne or David Silva?
Oh, I take
David Silva for me.
Silva for me as
Who's-
well. Love him.
Yeah, who's the
Yeah.
better all-time Premier League midfielder?
I just don't say Silva because I love him so much. Is he better? Probably not. You know, I've always been, but you can't rule. It's emotion rules for me. Football, it's just so much better to watch. It'd have to be Silva. Would be the one I'd want to have in my team for that matter. That fact alone.
I think I agree that he's a fabulous player, David Silva. But I think De Bruyne has a genuine shot at being the all-time greatest midfielder in Premier League history.
Yeah, and in Premier League history, definitely.
Yeah, Premier League from '92 onwards, when
Yeah.
football began.
Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah.
from when football began, obviously, because it only began in '92 when Sky started covering the Premier League. Really good. Yeah, because
You're only
Other-
saying
otherwise,
that.
football didn't
other-
exist
otherwise
before
it would,
then.
otherwise it would for sure be Brian Robson and Bobby Charlton and no one else.
Souness or
Yeah, no sourness on this podcast, please.
oh no, he'd definitely be up there, mate. What a player he was, Champagne Charlie. Wonderful player he was. Anyway, yeah. So David Silva, we're gonna miss him. Such a shame.
Yeah,
Absolutely loved him. And yes, I know what you're saying, Seamus. That De Bruyne probably is the better player, but if you're going to have a player on your team, you want the one that's better. You want the one that's going to make you just go, wow. And he does that like 10, 11 times a game.
yeah.
Just does
And
the
he was at them when he weren't that great either, when he were just becoming a really good side. He was at there then. De Bruyne's got the advantage that he basically came into a top side, didn't he? And I think for me it's David Silva personally. Although I'm a massive fan of De Bruyne as well.
Yeah, it's a tough one because they're both great players, but I just love Silva so much. It's a bit like for me, the best player at Barcelona will never be Messi because Andres Iniesta was there at the same time, and for me he was better. Loved him. He was just a special player, and I think he made Messi look as good as he did, and he was never the same once Iniesta left. Messi was like a shadow of the player because he needed someone like Iniesta there, and I think the difference is De Bruyne doesn't need a Silva there, but he has got 10 other great players in the team around him anyway. So, so it's a bit different. Like, yeah. Anyway, should we move on? I think we have to talk about Mbappe again, don't we?
Yeah. Well, it looks as though he's going to Real Madrid now. He's turned down the Saudi move.
Yeah, he's not doing Henderson, Jordan Henderson, not Dean Henderson. He hasn't got injured. Missed most of the season, so they had to sign another keeper, and then still can't buy him anyway the following season because Man United decided to lose all their other keepers. And sorry, get a bit confused there. Yeah, whoa.
Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, he's turned down the Saudi move, which. To think, 259 million they were going to pay, right?
And his fee was 600 million a year. Would you believe? That's an amazing amount of. That's just an obscene amount of money, isn't it? 600 million a year.
But
That's absolutely
he'd got
incredible.
13 million just for his cut of the transfer fee.
Yeah.
13 million, like in one go, that would have been a lump sum of 13 million for the transfer fee alone. That's insane.
Yeah. All power to him though for tearing that down. I know he doesn't need the money either. I must say, but yeah, he turned that down. I think the football's more important to him than what the money is. It seems.
I think it come down to the simple fact that there's a Euros in the summer, next summer.
Possibly.
And if he wants to play for France in the Euros, he's got to be playing. He can't be playing in the Saudi Arabian League because they're not going to pick him. Whereas Jordan,
I don't care if he was in the big
No. He's the French captain. He would be picked. I think there might be something else, but I would think I shouldn't mention it right now.
No, go on.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to.
Oh, okay.
No, because it's mindless speculation, but might be true. So I don't want to say it on air.
All right, okay. Yeah, if he was in the Zangari League in Liverpool, he'd still be playing for France next year. He's such a talent, isn't he? I think he's the best player. He's the best player in the world at the moment. Well, he has been for over 2 years for me, but Messi included, I think he's a better player than Messi.
Oh yeah, he has been for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that he plays in the French league, so it makes it difficult to really Jim.
Yeah, but even in internationals and that, he's still looked great, hasn't he? You know, and oh, what a player he is! Out the speed of him and the strength as well as his ability. He's just got the whole package, hasn't he?
Mm.
He really has. And if you could afford him, you'd want him, wouldn't you? You know, he'd be your first pick, wouldn't he? In a draft. If there was a draft, he'd be your first pick.
What I don't understand is why he's suddenly got this reputation as being a prima donna. I mean, we know that the Qataris have literally mounted a campaign in the media to denigrate him for years for some reason, even when even though he's been playing for them in the entire time. You know, then they wonder why he wants to go. I mean, it's just bizarre, but like I don't understand why he's got this reputation. He trains hard, he gets on with most of his teammates, and there's never been any issues between him and his teammates really. The only thing I can think of is because they've basically pandered to him, but that's the Qataris pandering to him because they're desperately trying to keep him from making the move he wanted to make. They've been throwing everything at it, you know, it's almost begging him to stay, isn't it? Which is kind of embarrassing. And now now they come out with the, we can't let it happen. Well, what are you going to do though, if he decides to just sit on his contract and wait? What
So we think he's going to go to Real Madrid. Now, what sort of fee would you expect Real Madrid to pay? If he'd been offered 260 million, to go to Saudi, what sort of fee are they going to have to come to take him a year early? Or are they?
150 if we are just going to make
Well, they'll
speculation.
just pay what they want to pay, to be honest, because like if PSG don't take it, they can just wait a year.
Yeah.
Get him on a free.
But I don't think it's going to be a straight up fee. I think there might be one or two players involved in the deal.
Yeah, very possibly.
They could for sure they could offer a Chouameni, for example, or I don't know, maybe Rudiger. I'm just throwing random names.
No, I'm sure.
Who knows? They might even offer Vinicius Junior.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing that probably makes sense, is a swap for Vinicius Junior for Mbappe.
A direct swap.
I mean, Real Madrid might have to put some cards the other way as well. No matter how good Vinicius Junior is, he isn't Mbappe good, is he? Let's be honest.
No, but he's not worth sacrificing. But he's too good to be sacrificed.
Yeah, but he
for
wants
Mbappe.
to.
Yeah, yeah.
If in a normal circumstance, if you were just saying, you know, you wouldn't want to sacrifice him, I fully 100% agree. But he wants to leave. He's fed up with the way he's being treated in Spain. He's been scapegoated as. I mean, he's constantly told that the reason why he gets racist abuse is because he dances and stuff like that when he scores goals and stuff. I mean, he's getting victim blamed, basically. If you were him, would you want to stay in Spain? When everyone keeps telling you it's your own fault you're being abused for being, you know, it's your own fault for being black. You know, that's why you're being abused. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And he definitely wants a waitress, yeah.
Yeah, he's desperate, definitely wants to leave, but they've been holding talks.
It's a bit of a come down to go to PSG though for him, isn't it? I think so.
Where else is he gonna go? Let's be honest.
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying to you. Where else would he go?
Well, that's the issue
Yeah.
that Real Madrid have been, you know, this is what they've been saying to him. I mean, you know, what's your option? Chelsea can afford you, or will pay the money, but, like, you know, they're not in Europe.
But no Champions League.
No, Europe even.
Yeah, but I don't think being in Europa League would have helped their cause that much.
But even so, at least you could say you've got it. You know, they just missed out on the Champions League, so they're still a European team. They're not even a European team. They're a bottom. You know, they're a bottom.
Yeah, they're a bottom half team.
Yeah,
that's what they are.
exactly. They were a bottom half team. Would you really? Is that the kind of move you want to make if you're him? I'm not sure you would. I know he's young enough that he could grow with the team, but I really don't see it as an attractive option right now for someone like him.
No.
Let's face it, if they had the money, just about every team in the world would be interested in him. He's a fantastic player. He's probably definitely in the top 10 players, best players in the world right now, isn't he? I don't think anyone.
Well, that's a top 5 yourself.
I would say it's top 3.
Well, I was going to say top 3, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to be, just to make it 100% sure that everyone would agree. Top 3. I would say top 3 because I can't think of anyone other than Mbappe off the top of my head that could argue is better.
Yeah, I think this is a slow news week, so we can maybe go off on a bit of a tangent.
We can go off and
listen, top 3 players. Name of the 2 players as good. Haaland, yeah, because he scored a lot of goals and he's a very good player. De Bruyne, yeah, but those are just cases you can make. Mbappe, I would. You don't tell me what team I'm playing. You don't tell me what other 10 players I have. You just tell me. Pick one of Haaland, De Bruyne, Mbappe. I'm picking Mbappe.
Yeah, Mbappe.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Mbappe is definitely number 1. It's just who's 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. is the argument. And I would say
even if you make an argument
that to be the second best in the world right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that.
I think like if we're gonna name top 5, it's largely gonna be about 5 or 6 players that's gonna feature in different order for everyone. Mbappe, Haaland, De Bruyne, Vinicius Juniors,
Anthony.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Anthony of Man United. He'd be right up there.
I don't think he'd even get.
What a player he is.
He wouldn't even get in the top 10 United players, Will.
I wouldn't swap, and I mean this, I wouldn't swap Maupay for Anthony. I think he's a terrible player.
No, I think I'm actually quite amazed how often he gets into so many good positions. No, I'm not being sarcastic. I don't know how he doesn't have brilliant pace, but I don't know how he ends up in so many good positions so often. Just can't quite beat the goalkeeper.
He's awful.
He's got no.
I think he's an awful player.
That's for me.
And they paid 18 million for him, did he? Pay 18 million for him?
No. I wish it was just only 80.
I was going to say.
Was it more?
Wasn't it? Wasn't it 100?
Yeah, I think it's 95 plus 5.
95. Yeah, it was 100 with add-ons, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're not gonna win the league or
and
Champions
he's
League,
not
and
going to
he's not
score
gonna
enough
win the
goals.
Ballon d'Or. Yeah.
He's
I think
not
it's
gonna
a
score
safe
or create
95.
enough goals to win anything else, is he? Let's be honest.
No, but generally he gets into so many good positions. You never know if something just clicks for him. I'm being hopeful, but
I think he's just wishing on a star. I think it's a bit like Adama Traore, but like not quick and powerful. Like he's one of those. He's just not got a brain in his head.
no. But if he had no brains in his head, he wouldn't get into good positions. Traore gets into good positions because of his pace and power. Anthony has nothing.
Yeah, but sometimes you can just end up in them because you just keep running. You know what I mean? He does work hard, to be fair to him. But
For a sobot, he is decently industrious.
yeah, there's something badly missing from his game.
Yeah.
I haven't watched him enough to really get a. He just didn't seem very bright to me. He always seemed to make the wrong choices. Decision making was appalling.
Yeah, very much so.
Just for completion's sake and to appease some of the Arsenal supporters, Bukayo Saka might be the 5th player in the list.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
for
he's
me.
good.
Not for me.
Yeah, another very good player. Harry Kane, another very good player. Yeah, some great player out there. Yeah, good player.
No, he won't be because
Really
he's a
good player.
defender. People never consider defenders. Doesn't matter how
No,
good
they
they are.
don't.
They never make the list for great players for some reason.
Allison, as a keeper,
Yeah.
he'd be right up there, but keepers don't get it really, do they? You've got to be a striker or a midfield player, haven't you?
Yeah, if Alisson wasn't at Liverpool last season, any other keeper in the world was in goal for Liverpool last season, they do not make European football this season.
No,
End
no,
of. There's
quality
no
player.
doubt in my mind. It's not even close. Alisson rescued Liverpool on so many occasions. But the thing is, you watch him and you're thinking, if that was someone like Pickford, he'd have got, well, a lot of them he'd have got nowhere near, but even the ones he did save, he'd have made look like he was like had to go flying across the goal. Alisson, it's just like, yeah, just take it. And that's it. It's so unfussy, and you're thinking that is a world-class save you've just made, and you've made it look like it's a simple save. That's
Good
a mark of how
position.
good he is.
Yeah,
And I think that's the problem is he will never get the respect he deserves because people don't see what he does well because it's not spectacular. He's just so
he's
good
in the
at
right
what he
place
does.
at the right time. Yeah,
He gets
very
himself
much
in the
so.
right place rather than having to throw himself into the
Yeah.
right place too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
Oh, man,
that's the same with a lot of defenders. The best defenders will be in the same way. You'll have someone like Sol Campbell was rated as a great player when he was only rated as a great player because he was always late to the party and he's sliding in having to make blocks that he didn't need to make if he'd actually been good.
Mm.
Well, great. I mean, he was good, but not great. That's what I was trying to say. I see Fabinho's not gone to Singapore with Liverpool. There's a surprise. All this rubbish about his dogs. Fuck's sake. I mean, has nobody ever heard of the pet passport system? This is the thing. We had some idiot saying that his mate had said they were, they had bookings for them at the quarantine, the pet quarantine. If they're in the pet passport system, which I'm 100% sure his animals are, because I'm sure I've seen him take them back to take them on holiday before, take them back to Brazil before, I'm sure, or he brought. If they've had the right jabs and all that, they can travel with that. They just travel on the pet passport scheme, and I'm sure that Saudi Arabia are on there because a friend of mine took his pets out there when he went out there to work.
Yeah, that was just a load of rubbish for me.
Yeah, it was just a nonsense story. I don't know where people come up with these things from. Where did they get it from?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, did somebody just literally make it up as a joke and then people...
Yeah, absolutely.
Happened?
I think it is, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
You've got a message on the hello message from Jay Stoney on the live chat. Really? Just said hello.
Nice. Hello.
It was in the Echo as well. Well, that says it all. Echo's been a load of shite for a long time.
Yeah,
Do you know what? When I was a
absolutely.
kid, the Echo, the Liverpool Echo, used to be the best football paper in the country. Bar none. There was none better. It was really
Yeah.
good. Fabulous.
And the Pink Echo on a Saturday used to be the best read of football in the whole country.
Oh yeah,
But
brilliant.
it's gone.
And I say that as someone I used to, because we used to travel all over. Like I said, as a kid, my uncle was a stand-up comedian, and I used to travel all over the country with him everywhere, and we'd pick up all the local papers, because he'd want to read all the papers, because he wrote topical jokes as well, was part of his act, was mostly topical jokes and that, and so he'd get papers from everywhere, because obviously in those days when I was a kid, we didn't have the internet like you got now, so your newspapers were it. So he'd buy newspapers from everywhere, and the sports papers, and and all the the Pinks and all that, because every area had their own version of it. But the Echo one was the best by far. It wasn't even close.
Yeah,
It wasn't even a
brilliant
competition, and
paper.
I've read hundreds of them, and that one was by far the best. But now the Echo, it's just a load of shite.
It's a joke, yeah, it is.
Oh,
It's all advertising based. I don't buy the Echo no more.
That's such a shame because it used to be a fantastic paper.
Mm,
It's just a joke. It's like all newspapers
yeah.
these days, they're just clickbait shite, aren't they?
I don't think people buy them much now. I don't know how they're making a living, to be honest with you. Most of it's online now.
Yeah,
People don't really use papers, I don't think, now.
it's the clickbait that's that's what they make their money from. And people see it's Liverpool
Yeah,
Echo, so they'll click on it to read it because it's Liverpool Echo, and they think, well, I used to read that. It's a good
yeah.
paper, so they'll believe it. But yeah,
It's like these sites like News Now, they're just a waste of space. I wouldn't even bother with the News Now.
to be fair,
It's
News Now's problem.
ridiculous.
News Now just aggregates all the reports on there. So if it mentions Man United, it'll just be aggregated into a list of News Now's Manchester United page. The problem is that they're supposed to pick and choose, and they do say they pick and choose which sources they take from. And I've had an argument with them because they refuse to accept our football news and views. They said that's no good for them. They said it's not the content that was the issue. It was the fact that we don't have, we generalise it. We don't have it based on, it doesn't get enough clicks. Basically, is what they were saying was the issue with it. But they were saying, they allow stuff on there that literally just makes up story. And I pointed out a number of the sites they link are literally just joke ones, that make up stuff for clickbait, and they still link to it.
Yeah,
And that's where the issue is. If you're going to be a news aggregator, you should be aggregating news only from sites that don't do the
reliable sources,
clickbait
yeah.
bullshit. If they do clickbait, you should remove them from your listing, and that's how it should work.
Mm,
This is the pro. I'd stay away from it. That's why News Now is a waste of time because they just will put anything on there as long as if it gets enough
yeah.
clicks for them. That's the only thing they're interested in is how many clicks it'll get them. That's
Yeah,
not
but
what it
they'll
should
come
be.
up with a headline like Everton to sign £20 million player. And
That's
you
enough.
go onto it, and you go onto News Now, Everton to sign a £20 million player. And you have to scroll through pages and pages of adverts until they actually mention the name of this player. And it's nothing to do with Everton anyway,
But that's not News Now. Don't
Honestly.
write the headlines, right? They just literally take the piece. They just take the.
Yeah, I can see that, but all the same, Football Insider, all these ones, I've got no time for them, honest to God, I haven't. I'd sooner just rely on Ed O2 and stick with that.
Yeah, well, and we got Seamus for all this stuff that we don't know about, haven't we, Seamus? You're the celeb pop culture icon, the source of all, font of all knowledge for when it comes to celeb stuff, aren't you, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone quiet. Has he gone? Maybe
Yeah, he was watching Love Island on the computer.
No,
probably.
it was 1 week. It was 1 week and one innocuous piece of information, and now I'm the guru of all
No,
celeb talk.
you always know when the footballers are having affairs and stuff like that. You're always the one mentioning them.
And then on the pulse.
Yeah.
That's because I'm young.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
That's just
I'm
young
getting
people
old. On
news.
Saturday, I'll be getting older. So
It's a Saturday for you.
I know. It's finally going past 21 after all these years. 28
Remind
When
years.
was your
Before.
birthday, Chris? Is your birthday today?
Saturday. Mate.
Remind me, Chris. How old is your daughter?
My oldest daughter, 22. As of not yet.
I rest
but
my
next
case.
month. Next month, she's 22.
I rest my case.
Well, that's all right. When I was, this is true. When she was growing up, she was about 5 or 6, and she asked me, "Mum, how old she is." Now, bear in mind, I was mid-20s when she was born, so I was like late 20s at this point. And she asked me, "Mum, how old my mum was," and she said 21. And you could see the look of confusion on her face. She looked at me and said, "How come your mum's younger than you are?" I said, I'm trying to explain without saying, well, you know what, your nan's a liar, which is the actual truth of the matter. But like, you can't say that to a 5-year-old, can you? Yeah. Yes. Bless her.
Have we got anything else on the agenda, Chris?
I see Man United fan groups protesting against the Glazers again. Makes a change.
How is that a news?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's just like we're running short of things. There's not much news happening at the moment, is there? Surprisingly,
No.
I mean it's a bit different. I mean we've had a super typhoon here, so it's just been pissing down. So I haven't even had I haven't had electricity most of the time to even look at to do any searching to find any stuff to talk about. That's been the problem. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Fabinho looks
Yeah.
gone from Liverpool. Trying to think. Yeah, it looks like Bayern Munich are actually going to try and sign Kane this
Harry
summer.
Kane.
Should be
Yeah.
interesting. I wonder, do you think it'll be a Mane swap as part of it?
No, Mane is moving to Saudi Arabia.
Is he actually gone there now, has he?
No, I think I don't think he has officially gone, but his agents have flown to Japan, where Al Nassr are currently on their tour. So the agents have flown to Japan. I think it's been confirmed by Bayern themselves.
It's such a sad thing what happened to him, the way he just, like, last couple of seasons, he just lost completely.
When I know I am the Manchester United supporter. I shouldn't be asking this question. I should be the one answering it. But anyways, do you think it is the worst idea in the world to, let's say, if we were to bring Hoyland in, and we still need someone else to play center forward from time to time, even if he turns out amazing, which he may not. Would it be the worst idea in the world to bring Mane in for a year or two as a
It'd be awful.
like
He
rotation
was
option or
gone at
something?
Liverpool. The final season, he was already gone. He was really poor on the left. He got moved central and he was okay, but he was more okay because Luis Diaz was so good on the left and Salah was so good on the right. It didn't really matter what he did. Do you know what is a surprise? Actually, talking about that, there is one thing. It looks like Arsenal are going to sell Balogun. I do not understand it. They need a striker. Nketiah clearly isn't good enough. Jesus is shit. He's the most over. I mean, I don't understand why they still think he's any good. Surely they've stopped thinking he's going to score the goals.
Wait, I need someone to clip this out of context. Just repeat what you said about Gabriel Jesus.
He's
Go on.
which bit?
No.
Did I say he's shit?
Yeah, just say that line one more time.
He's shit.
We need to clip this out. No! Come on! Let's take this out of context. You just said
I'm not a fan, I must admit.
No, Chris just said Jesus is shit. I just need to...
Yeah! I've got you now. Sorry. I understand what you're saying now. Sorry, I was a bit slow there. Slow on the uptake. I said Jesus and deliberately though. That's why I said Jesus rather than Jesus. Because you have to be careful, because some bastard will cut that out of you, will clip that out, they'll have that on the net saying, look what these bastards are saying, just to have us hounded knowing our luck. So I was very careful, that's why I always call him Jesus, rather than Jesus.
Is there any links to Vlahovic? A couple of the lads were asking the Arsenal lads, are we going in for Vlahovic?
Vlahovic?
Yeah. I think he'd be a great sign for Arsenal, to be honest with you.
I would have said something like that, but recently I watched a clip of Nemanja Vidic on a podcast, an interview, and he was like, he's Serbian, so both of them are. He was saying Vlahovic isn't Manchester United type of player. Basically saying he's not sure he can like handle the limelight pressure and everything that comes with it.
Mm.
Yeah, he's,
Theater and Chris, but I would think Arsenal have a very similar level of pressure and all that.
yeah, he's definitely
Right.
not. He's not handled it well since moving, taking the
No,
step
I
back.
I don't know whether it's him not handling the pressure or him having a good beginning and then struggling with injuries.
Mm.
He had a
Yeah,
bad
that's
start.
possible.
You got a fair point there, but I don't know. I don't think he's. I think he's struggling. I think his ball went when he went there, and it didn't start off fantastic.
But I don't think, like Chris said yesterday when we were discussing Sofian Amrabat, I don't think Vlahovic is going to push Arsenal to the Premier League title.
You've gone really quiet, Seamus. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think Vlahovic is going to push Arsenal to the title,
No.
and that is what they should be looking at.
Do you know what though, Dibs? Man United and Arsenal both need a striker to compete for the title this year. I think they both of them need a striker, and I haven't had no definite links to anyone who they seem to be going after.
I don't know about Arsenal, but we for sure need a. We just need a striker to get 11 players on the pitch, let alone challenge for anything else. We have no striker, and no Anthony Martial doesn't count, but because he's probably already injured, getting
Because
on the
he's
pitch.
crap, yeah.
Yeah, and he's injured again anyway.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Billy, whether he's crap or he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He got injured during the farewell speech, end of season speech at Old Trafford. Not even when he was playing.
Yeah.
Genuinely, Billy, that is why he missed the FA Cup final.
Why don't you go?
Is he? Yeah.
Why don't you go for Balogun?
I don't know, because we're going for Hoyland.
Yeah, well, I just don't get it. Somebody's got to explain.
I think it should be.
Why nobody?
I think it should be Everton.
Why is
I think
Arsenal
it should
selling
be
him?
Everton.
They need a striker that scores goals. They've got Balogun already on the boots. I mean, they've done it. Hadn't they made this mistake once when they tried to replace Saliba? How many times does he have to make this mistake, Arteta, before he realises that sometimes what you've got is good enough if you give them a chance? I suppose Havertz will teach him that lesson. I think this season, though, won't he? If he keeps playing,
Yeah.
that'll be a hard lesson to learn. That will.
That was a strange one for me.
I don't think we've discussed it. Even if we have, then I must have forgotten about it. But what do you make of Julian Timber's move? Make sense of that move for me, please.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the only thing I can think of is that they want to play with go into the same system as City. You know, we're playing where it goes between a right back three sort of thing, where the left back will come inside as a a bit
Centre mid?
Yeah, so into centre mid, and maybe at times the right back will do that, but other times he'll be playing.
Yeah, but the right back is already a centre back.
Yeah,
filling in.
he's been terrible. He's been really bad for them. So.
And his backup Tomiyasu is also a centre back playing fullback. So
Exactly.
I just don't understand why. I don't understand why they didn't recruit a specialist. If they had gone in for a specialist centre back, I would have said yeah. If they had gone in for a specialist right back, I would have understood it. If they had gone for a specialist defensive midfielder, I would have understood it. I just don't understand how they went for a player who is still not certainly fixed on a position.
I'm with you on it. I don't think it makes sense because I just don't think he's that good either. I think he's one of those that he's alright, but he's not a right back. He's not a centre back. He's sort of in between.
And he's not a bargain. That's my issue. My issue is he's not coming
Yeah.
in for 15, 20 million. If it was that, then yeah, take a punt if it comes off. Then
Exactly.
we are set. If it doesn't, then you can just recoup most of the money anyways. But I don't understand.
Well, there's summer transfer. Hang on, maybe that's what we can touch on here. We'll have a look at see whether they.
No, I don't understand. I only get the Declan Rice move, but that's about it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The only signing that makes any sense for them that I've seen is Rice. Other than that, it just seems like they're. Well, it just seems a mess.
I don't know Havertz. I don't know where Havertz plays, and I don't know where Timber plays.
I don't think Havertz knows where he plays.
No, I don't.
I really don't.
I really
No,
don't
but
get it.
generally they've recruited 100 million worth of player and neither get into the strongest team and don't have a position that they're gonna get in either. It's not like if we sign Amrabat like with Rimatu, I don't think he gets into our strongest 11, but I know where he gets into our team. With Havertz and with Timber, I don't know where they can play. I don't know who they're gonna be the backup to, who they're gonna rotate with, and they've apparently got 30 players, and that's coming out from Arteta. Arteta said they've got 30 players, and they need to move players on. I'm confused. As usual, I'm confused.
Every season he spends big on players that don't seem to actually fix the issues in the squad or improve the. They don't seem to be buying the players they need to make them better at all. I mean, aforementioned Jesus a couple of seasons ago, like last summer. I mean, he doesn't fix any of the issues they had. But it just seems like their transfer policy is just spend big.
Yeah, I know Arsenal supporters hate it when Manchester United spend any money. I don't know why. It triggers them, but
Yeah.
Arsenal are the only team. Arsenal are the only team that have comfortably gone neck and neck with us when it comes to spending money. No, I'm being serious. They were was it last window or the window before? Arsenal were the highest spender in Europe,
Mm.
and then again they spent quite a few
Well, they've spent what?
Yeah.
last summer, and then again.
They've spent over 200 million this summer already, and they're still looking to buy. And all they've sold is Granit Xhaka and Pablo Mari, which is less than 20 million quid. It's like 15 million, 16, 17 million, I'd say, 17 million.
And also, that's just one player from their first team squad. Anyways, Mari was out on loan.
Yeah, he was at Monza, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I really don't get the thinking there. I mean, that Balogun they're trying to sell. Why? Because somebody
To get
explain
maybe to balance the books, Trish.
Well-
They probably think they're gonna get much more for him than Eddie Nketiah, and he probably isn't gonna stick around to be a backup option for them anyways. Maybe that's
That's what
me trying to make sense.
Why is the issue whether he's going to be a backup option? Surely the issue should be whether Jesus is willing to stick around and be a backup option to him. At least Balogun scores goals.
Didn't he score somewhere around 20 goals?
It was the only it
Last
was
season.
only Mbappe that beat him last season, wasn't it?
No, David. There was David,
Oh,
Lacazette,
yeah,
and
no.
Mbappe.
At one point he was top scorer, wasn't he? Except for Mbappe, and then by the end of the season, David and
Lacazette were also up
yeah.
there.
I do like Lacazette as a player. I think he was hard done by.
No, that is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That is what I was thinking.
Yeah, he was what I never understood why they let
You
him
also,
go.
yeah, they also had Lacazette.
Yeah, another one. But why is why is David still not being bought by anybody?
There hasn't been enough striker movement in the window yet.
But someone like Spears, if they sell Kane, he's perfect.
Yeah, but they've not sold Kane, so they're
No,
probably
true.
not ready to pull the trigger. If Napoli were to sell Osimhen, or I don't know, if
Someone-
Milan were to sell Lautaro.
But if
He would be
Arsenal
a
are
decent
selling,
option.
and still, because they're selling, one of the reasons they're selling is so they can buy a forward, apparently. I mean, why buy Kai Havertz then in the first place if you still need a striker? You know, you need a striker. Why?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, well, yeah, surely David's got to be the best option for them as a forward as well. I mean, there's so many clubs he looks like. I do not understand why he's still there. I just don't get it. And I know he's not Haaland's level. I know he's not Mbappe level, but you know, most teams aren't Mbappe or Haaland level to be able to get a player like that. So you've got to move in the market. You can move, you know, you can buy players for. Someone like at Villa, for instance, they're spending big money. Why don't I don't. I really do not get. West Ham. Why did they not move for him?
Manchester United.
Well, I've
Let's
said
not
that
beat
before.
around the bush.
Manchester United should have been. He should have been the one they're going for. Why does my TV keep thinking I'm voice activate? I hate voice activation things. My TV keeps switching on and off because it thinks I'm talking to it. I don't even know why.
Do you think David will go? Do you think someone will come in for him later on? Because it's been very quiet on him for a while now. Does he still want to leave?
No, he surely wants to leave. I think he might. I think he's someone who's probably on the list for quite a few teams around Europe who are either looking to get a centre forward in, or who are worrying that their striker might be picked up by someone else.
Yeah, if somebody moves, I think he'll be the one who brought in.
Vlahovic moves to any of the clubs he's been linked to, let's say, then David wouldn't be the worst. Yeah.
But can they afford him?
If they sell Vlahovic, but then maybe they can. We don't know if they get a. No, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing random names. If Osimhen were to move, maybe Napoli come in. If Lautaro were to be sold, maybe Inter come in. If we don't get Højlund, then maybe Manchester United make a move for him.
I think he should have gone for him anyway, because Højlund, from what I've seen of him, doesn't even look like an out-and-out striker anyway. He looks like someone who plays off a striker, you know, like an Mbappe or someone like that. And you need someone to play actually up front, don't you?
Yeah, but David isn't like out-and-out striker himself either. He's
more of a goal scorer though than Højlund's more of.
I would have said Atalanta. I would have said Atalanta could go in for him, but they've gone in for El Bilal Toure.
Can't be that good though, that El Bilal Toure, can he? Because Everton won him.
Hey, leave Everton out of this. Leave Everton out of this. We're going to do all right.
Yeah, they are out of this. They are out of this because we're talking Europe's
European teams, Bill. You wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
This is something you don't know about. When was the last time Everton were in Europe?
No, they would never be in Europe because Everton are basically Brexit.
Yeah, Everton, the Brexit side, yeah. Except they left Europe long before Brexit.
And there was talk about DCL movement, possibly to join Mourinho on loan.
Yeah.
And Everton supposedly considering it, but I don't know about that.
Nonsense to me. Why would they?
For sure they're going to get Scamacca on loan anyways.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. They've got Scamacca coming in from West Ham, who doesn't want to play for Moyes.
And Moyes doesn't want to play him either.
Yeah, Moyes just wouldn't pick him. I don't understand. Just go, you know, the lads may as well just give up because he's never going to get a chance under Moyes because he plays up front and tries to score.
Yeah, Tammy Abraham's out for the season, isn't he? Looks to probably be missing for most of the season. He was doing all right as well, Tammy Abraham.
Jesus Christ! Now they've left Bradley out of the Singapore squad as well. Conor Bradley, for fuck's sake, they must be loaning him out. Fucking hell,
All
why
right.
the hell Liverpool loaning him out?
Maybe he's got some injuries. You never know.
No, he's not. He's fit. He's been playing.
Uh,
Oh my god, this is just. So they've been playing Trent Alexander-Arnold in a deep-lying midfield role for for their couple of warm-up games, and he's looked really good there. Looks like
maybe you can.
she's
Maybe
natural
you can
there.
use him. Maybe you can use Bradley as a make quit in the Romeo Lavia deal. Who knows? I'm just throwing it out in the universe.
Yeah, it's a point. Stitch.
So you got, but what I mean is you've already got Ramsey's out on loan. So there's the only right back cover now is gonna be youth players, unless sign the right back.
Joe Gomez.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The only cover I'm talking about. You've got Joe Gomez. I'm saying if you put Trent in midfield, if you do play him in midfield, the only cover you've got then is a youth team player because Gomez would have to play right back-ish, right centre back. I mean, it
And,
makes,
and he's not a good right back, and
I
he's
don't know.
not
He's not
reliable
bad
either.
as a
His
right, when
fitness.
he's playing the role where he's playing more defensively and you let the left back go forward, he's fine. But he's just not aggressive enough. His problem is when he plays alongside Matip. I was watching the last game. Matip was literally stood on his toes most of the game. You're thinking, just why are you there? You shouldn't be out to the right. You need to be in the centre, Matip. Where are you going? Just get in the middle. And then there was, and no surprise, you can see he did loads of goals while he's there. He's constantly out of position, and people will moan about blame Gomez and that, and it's like, no, Matip's the one that's causing the problem, not Kwanzaa, who was in the right place. He was out on the left, where he should be. Matip's over on the right, where he should be in the middle. There's a huge gap between the two. Sorry, I'm going to get up soapbox there, but I just do not understand this Bradley thing. Look, even if he hasn't impressed, there is no other option there at the club. That means you've got to buy.
Maybe you got someone lined up.
Well, I mean, who? I mean, there's no real right. And why buy a player to replace a player that you're only sending out on loan anyway? Two players that you're sending out on loan who you think are their future right backs. Why would you buy a player to replace them just for a year loan? It's stupidity, and that's why you end up in financial difficulties where you can't buy the players you want.
Maybe you can buy back Nico Williams from Nottingham Forest.
He's not good enough though. That's why he was. That's why I would never have wanted. I didn't want Trent moved from right back at one. I wouldn't have even considered it because Nico Williams was his backup and he wasn't good enough. He might potentially be good enough in the future, but he's not nowhere near good enough yet. And it's whereas Bradley, he looks not far off. You know what I mean? He struggled a bit with this stupid hybrid role. We'll just fucking dump the hybrid role and play him as a proper right back. And like, if Trent Alexander-Arnold's in the deep line defensive holding role, you don't need to go to the hybrid role anyway, because he does he can play the passes from there. It just makes no sense. Drives me mad. But just leaves you short.
You can go for Cancelo. I just remember. You can go for Cancelo.
I don't think we could afford his wages. Isn't he on like 400,000 a week?
No.
He's not far off.
Nobody at Manchester City is on 400,000 a week.
Every single player at Man City is on at least 300,000 a week.
The highest paid
more
player.
than 500,000.
No, Haaland is on 375, so he's.
No, he's not.
So is Kevin De Bruyne.
That's not true.
No, that's what they. You know what I mean.
They're leading you to believe, yeah.
I'm not saying they're earning that. I'm saying that's what. How much they reportedly earn.
That must be the after tax then, because they're on a lot more than that, mate. Haaland was on more. The whole point was he was taking home over $500,000 a week. Sorry, being paid over $500,000 a week. That was one of the insistences in the deal with when he signed for them. So I don't know where this 375's come from, because he is definitely on over $500,000.
I don't know.
Maybe it's the under the table side contract that makes it up to.
Oh, you finally got it.
Yeah. Maybe that's where I'm missing it. Yeah, I'm pretty. I was thinking that was on top though of the 500,000 a week. Because how much he was actually earning on top of that would be the interesting thing. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's 375,000 declared and another 375,000 in side contracts.
No, the thing is here, when Ronaldo left, it was De Bruyne at 400,
Really?
highest paid player in the league. Then it was Erling Haaland and De Gea both second highest at 375 each. But Haaland, because he was scoring so consistently and so regularly, he was getting paid his goal bonus.
£1 million a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it was £1 million a goal, but
It's a
probably not that far away.
lot. A few hundred. It's probably a few thousand, tens of thousands. I would have thought.
No, I think it was at least 50. I'm
Yeah.
being
But
I'm not trying to be funny. I think it was 50 for a goal, £50,000 per goal.
I'm quite sure he's on a lot more than that now.
And Cancelo, according to this page, Cancelo is on 250.
Nah, he's on more than that.
I think that makes him the second highest at Liverpool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, second highest. Bayern couldn't afford. Bayern said his wages were too high because they were more than that.
And Bayern pays somewhere around 400 to Kimmich. That's what I read.
They were saying it was too. His wages were too high for them. So
How
It's a
can
shame.
400 for Kimmich be less
aren't
than
they paying?
200?
Are they paying 400,000 to Mane as well? Aren't they?
Yeah, but how can they afford 400 for Kimmich or Mane, but they cannot afford the 250 for Cancelo if it's actually just 250?
Yeah.
That was my point. He's on a lot more. Yeah, he's definitely not on. I don't know why they come up
Do you know
with
how much?
these.
Do you know how much Virgil is on?
Virgil van Dijk is 200
Yeah.
and something. 220 is it or something?
20.
They say?
That's only about 30,000. So Billy's fee for one podcast appearance. 30,000. That's just 30,000 more than Harry Maguire.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is strange because he's, with him being the highest, biggest transfer fee for a defender, Harry Maguire should really be paid accordingly. I think you're scamming him, really.
Underpaid.
That's probably why he's having such a poor time of it. He's struggling. You know what I mean?
I think that's time for my dinner. The gong will be going shortly.
Gong.
So I'm going to have ham, gammon with egg and new potatoes. That's tonight.
Okay, that's a shame because we got asked the question about Everton, but I'll write it down for next week so we can discuss it next week. It was just about the charges. Stone just asked if you thought if there'd be anything happen with the charges, Everton charges.
Not yet, but it's coming. It's like next week. It's definitely coming.
Do you think
But
it'll be soon?
when? No, I don't think it'll be soon. I think it'll be deferred. So I think they'll get away with it for this season. But before the end of the season, it'll get sorted out, and we'll be in a little bit of trouble by the looks of it. Everton are saying that they're not, and they've done nothing wrong, but they're going to say that, aren't they? So well,
Yeah,
we'll see.
so are Man City, and even though they've already been found guilty,
Yeah,
most of them.
I know.
I know.
Yeah,
But apparently they say they weren't found guilty of anything, even though they were.
yeah, it'll come up in the wash, I suppose. But anyway, lads, I'm going to leave you, and thanks very much for today. I had a good time, and I shall see you next Thursday.
See you next Thursday, Bill.
Yeah, ta-ra, geeks, ta-ra, sis.
Enjoy your pizza.
Ta-ra.
It's not pizza, it's gammon and egg.
It's just always pizza. I was just joking.
Okay, mate, I'll see you next week.
Take care, mate.
Ta-ra, guys, ta-ra, everyone.
Right, is there anything else you want to talk about, or should we call it there then, Seamus? Do you want to touch on the Man
Nothing.
City thing?
Nah, because ultimately it's just like speculation because there are no proofs out there, right?
Well, we won't know until until someone comes. Well, it's just guesswork on what they'll do. Can't
Yeah,
say
it's
they're
not
doing
like
anything.
it's not like documents are flying around in the internet and
Well, they've got them.
people can.
Well, the documents they have had, they're not allowed to use anyway. Even though they proved it, but you're not allowed to use them because they were obtained illegally. It's kind of sad, really, in some respects. I can see why it's done like that, but it is kind of a shame. Because if you've got proof, it shouldn't really matter how you got it, in some respects. But I can see why you don't want them to use something like that as well. It's a tough one. Anyway, yeah, so we might as well call it there then. And thanks for listening, Stone, and anyone else. Who else was on there? Harris.
Well, just
Hey,
as we're going, I just like to reassure all the Liverpool supporters that they can take a sigh of relief now. Ismail Assar is not gonna join Liverpool. He's moved to Marseille.
Who?
One more player. Yeah, Ismail Assar.
Oh,
One more
Ismail
player.
Sarr, yeah. Sorry, yeah, you joined Marseille. Yeah, I
Club's
meant to say
favourite.
that one.
Apparently, club's favorite.
Yeah, I didn't get that one at all. I watched him, and sometimes he had an effect on the game, but he was never looked good when he did it. It was an odd one.
And Alex Tejes also has joined Al Nassr. What is happening with Al Nassr? Suddenly they're coming out all guns blazing, trying to recruit the shit players from Manchester United.
Well, where else are they going to go but to Saudi Arabia? And yes, it is Saturday, Stone, mate. Yeah, I'll enjoy it. Be spending it with the kids and that. So unfortunately, the missus and that has to come and their mates. But you can't have everything, can you? You can't go and just have fun. No, they have to spoil it by going along as well, just to make sure you don't enjoy yourself too much. You know how it is. Shit, she said she's still be listening. Shit. Uh-oh.
Also, Trish, who do you think Robbie Savage is going to support this season now?
Oh yeah, because hasn't he moved to
Charlie Savage has moved to Reading, so I don't know.
that's it. Has he moved
I don't know
on
where he's
permanent
at.
or
Yeah,
is
it's a permanent. It's a permanent.
Because I looked at that and at the time nobody seemed sure, and I meant to check
It's a
back.
permanent.
So that'll be a tough one for him. I think he'll
Yeah,
probably
but
stay Man United and just cause unless they face each other, that's when it becomes difficult, isn't it?
no, but he's not. I don't know.
So do you think
don't know.
I thought he was supposed to be the next big star.
No. He was never. For me personally, I'm not an expert on Manchester United Academy, but he was never the next in line. For the midfield players that have come through our ranks, he was quite far down,
All right.
in my estimation. He was below Jidan Iqbal, and Iqbal was he barely featured. James Garner was the one that had the most hopes behind him, and he never got his chance. Well, it's Kobe Mainu time anyways now, so everyone else can get in the bin.
Okay. Alright then, anyway, so right. We'll call it there then, everyone, and thank you for listening. And next week when I see you, I'll be actually a year older for once instead of still the same age, even though I've had a birthday. So take care, everyone, and enjoy your weekend, because I know I will. See you next Thursday. And cheers, Seamus, and cheers, Billy.
Yeah, cheers. See you next Thursday. I'd just like to end this by saying, I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
What's that, Richarlison quote? Now he's lifted a trophy, that's got to be the end of the world, hasn't it? I've stopped it, by the way.